These trees are beautiful. They kind of look like lollipops, but imagine eating a lollipop and then a spider bites your tongue. Look at these things. They're everywhere and they've invaded tabs. I have $2,200 and I have to defeat an army of spiders. This is level 1 in the campaign. I think the best course of action is to kill them with fire. Now, this guy's got grenades. I've got a few pirate faction units and some musketeers. I like ballistics-based weaponry because spiders are terrifying and shooting at them from distance seems like a pretty good idea. Wait a minute. Some of these things are taking more than one musket shot to die. And they're overrunning my troops. And it looks like they explode once they make... Oh my god, this is terrifying. Can you imagine being this dude right here and getting rushed by 3 giant spiders? Oh, this is arachnophobia, the game. Okay, so that did not work at all. There's a lot of them and they're relatively weak. Maybe we just need to increase the fire rate. Old school muskets fire really slow, but bows and arrows can fire faster, at least in the hands of a capable archer. Capable. I said capable. Guys, of course the archer couldn't hit the target with their first 4 arrows, and this is something that we cannot afford to be slow on. These things are fast. They crawl across the battlefield, and they just destroy everything in their path. And these aren't even the biggest spider that we're going to be facing today. Maybe ranged warfare isn't the best? Clearly not. Wait a minute. This man's still alive. You're kidding me. Okay, so they kind of explode. They remind me a little bit like banelings. Maybe these aren't like... These spiders might be from another world. How is this man still alive? What? Okay. This isn't terrifying at all. Well, needless to say, after the invasion in the forest, we've tracked the spiders to this mysterious cave, and you guessed it, spider webs and a very ominous sack. Is there anything back here? No, just some puppy dogs worshiping the sun. Sometimes when you need to find out what it is, you just send in the bravest creatures in the history of fantasy, and those are the hobbits. Now, they're naturally hatching from the eggs. I think that's relatively straightforward. So if I see something like this, hatching out monstrosities from the bowels of the earth, I'm thinking, once again, firepower. We're going to try to use the cannon, but we have a pretty well-balanced force, I would say, including a hobbit. We felt a little bad in sending 2 hobbit scouts to their untimely demise. But if this cannon can maintain a decent fire rate, it might be able to destroy the egg sac. And that was the case, so we were able to take it out. Cannons might work, especially when supported properly. Oh my. Okay, so this has turned into a spider volcano. We've got more egg sacs. Oh, and we have 2 new spiders. These ones are even larger than the last one, and they're red. Do they almost look robotic to you? Or like a synthetic species invading our planet? One thing that worries me is I have 6,500 gold. That means whatever we're fighting, it's gonna be a lot of it. I actually went with frosty arrows. I want to see if they slow down. Okay, we just musketed one of the red ones and it's immediately dead. This is kind of working, I think. Oh, the red ones are ranged. I thought we had pushed this thing back and we were successfully stun blocking it, but that wasn't the case. He was actually tactfully retreating to fire ranged weaponry. I guess, I'm not sure if it was a cannon or if he was shooting acid. I didn't really get a close glimpse at it. But needless to say, like, this purple volcano of doom is terrifying. Can you imagine having to march up to this? This is like marching into Mordor. You can just be like, oh, that giant tower with the dark fiery eye. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the frosty arrows, I don't know if they're really slowing down the enemy troops enough. Like, these things are still hatching. Frosty arrows, we need something that do a little bit more damage. We're gonna have to go back to the drawing board. So we're gonna do a mixture of the 2 units we've tried already, muskets and arrows. Oh my god. Okay, the red ones are just evaporated. We've got these 2 giant Jarls. Big, 2-handed axes swinging. They can also have this magical ability to basically create like a frost prison. And I'm hoping that'll slow down the enemies long enough for these muskets to get close and hopefully destroy the egg sac. The spiders have spread to the medieval kingdom here in Tabs. Another dimension is under threat. I mean, what kind of smoke comes out of eggs? 14,500? I guess it would make sense that we can only use medieval forces here. I want to try big, heavy catapults. And the king here, with the best voice actor in the history of video game voice acting. We still have 3,000 gold. All right, we're going to get some healers out here. So the medieval faction has ventured out into the battlefield in order to defend their realm. We've got a lot of healers. The catapults are able to basically one-shot the giant red spiders. They're doing some really creepy stuff, man. I think with enough healers protecting the king, he might even be able to deal with most of these spiders by himself. The issue is there's just a lot of them. But with enough archer support and catapult support, literally dragging our troops to the front lines here, I think this is gonna be enough to defend it. Oh, I thought that guy was terrified and the spider was gonna run off the cliff here, but that wasn't the case. Oh my gosh, I just got an achievement. Finish a level with 10 plus healers. I've never done that. So I've been noticing something that's a little bit scary, and that the spiders keep invading other dimensions, and as we've seen, they've been able to upgrade from a simple spiderling to sort of a replicating egg sac to even this giant red one. I fear that we're gonna face a monstrosity, the size of which we can't even comprehend. But since we're at the base of Mount Olympus, it's only fair that Zeus decides to defend his realm himself. I'm curious if Zeus has enough firepower? Oh, okay, if he can't one-hit a red spider, then this Zeus has no chance. That ended incredibly fast. All right, so if we get one ballista for every red spider, we have plenty of money. Ooh, some snakes? Dude, spiders versus snakes. This is someone's nightmare right here. We'll have a minotaur or two to rush in, and then hoplites. I tell you what, Alexander the Great would see this phalanx and he would weep with joy. This is a proper Macedonian-style formation. I think, even though there are tons of spiders, like if these spiders were zombie spiders, like if they could kill our units and turn them into, like, you know, zombies, I think we would have a much more difficult time. But the fact that these are just like pumping them out. But I think after a certain number of eggs, they just run out and they can't produce any more spiders. Notice how these two egg sacs on the rightward flank for our forces are no longer producing. Now, if we were to take a quick look at the battlefield and pause, we have suffered casualties, actually quite a bit, but we still have numerical superiority. Oh my goodness. This is what I was talking about. Look at this thing. It's massive, and we have 66,000 gold. I think the only way to do this is to get one boss from every faction and see if the last alliance is strong enough. The last alliance of champions looks like this. Thor with Mjolnir. We got Quick Draw, the pirate duo, a Jarl, the Monkey King, the Reaper themselves, Zeus, the king, voiced by the best voice actor in the history of games. The Chieftain, which always seems a little underwhelming, but Scarecrow, Gandalf, and Artemis. Artemis might actually be relied upon. Look at this. This is what it looks like. All right, guys, best of luck. Oh my gosh, okay. I'm pretty sure that the giant spider, was he firing lightning bolts? Or is he just like pumping out like tons and tons? What are those? Oh my god, okay. So it drops like a weird web looking thing, and then from it, look at this. We're in slow motion right now. Oh my gosh, we can see the spider boss health of 1,560. And it just pops into 3 little spiderlings who then quickly take to the field of battle. I was honestly expecting the Da Vinci tank to get crushed and destroyed immediately, but I think with this number of troops and like the quality that we have, we're doing pretty good. What I want to test after is we were given M1 Abrams battle tanks, right? We do have sort of a modern faction, and I have a few units that are armed with FN scars, and I want to see if a modern army would be able to dispatch this thing faster, because right now we're starting to lose some of our heroes, and there are tons and tons and tons of spiders. The Reaper's doing his thing though. So the spider boss is still over 1,000 health, but it's down, what, 500 health since we last looked at it. Dude, I love how like it can just mortar fire these eggs all across the battlefield. That's really good at distracting the defending force. Like, look at this. The scale of this thing. I think this is the biggest unit that we've ever shown off in tabs yet. That giant spider. Yeah, at this point, we've just got Zeus, Artemis, Gandalf, and the Da Vinci tank. Everyone else has fallen. And I actually fear that Zeus is down too. It's just Artemis now. No, Zeus is alive. Okay. That's actually good for them. Somehow Da Vinci's still going? Uh-oh. I don't know. I think this might be it. Wow. Zeus's chain lightning is doing just enough. in Artemis's rapid fire. Being able to fire like basically what's 5 different arrows at a single target allows for it, even if it misses 1 or 2, the other ones are going to land. And it's going to be able to take out groups of them. Look at that. These things have a very strong carapace that seems to be able to block some amount of ranged weaponry. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. What are these little red nodules? Is that where the legs connect? Okay, that's just like creepy. This almost seems like someone built it from another dimension. Some kind of a grand inventor or tinkerer. I don't know what their motive is or where they come from, but if you're able to create something like this, seemingly on a whim to invade the tabs dimensions, then you might have some serious firepower up your sleeve. The best thing that the defenders ever did was, I guess, put up this random stone wall sometime a couple 100 years ago. Okay, they destroyed it? Oh my gosh. It turned into ragdoll mode. They just destroyed the giant spider boss. I was distracted by the amount of health, and now all they have to do is find the few remaining spiders in the forest, and that's a victory. Where did the Jarl come from? I thought you were dead. He was clearly, he bravely repositioned to the rear to avoid most of the combat, it seems. And we'd have saved the lands from the scourge of the scary robot spiders. But what I want to do is go to the final stand and the secret units, if you look very, very closely. Under the Legacy faction, you can find a tank for 6,000. Now, we have 66,000, so we should be able to get 11 of these things. 11 battle tanks on the field of battle. Like, look at this. We've got some poor... Oh, man, these guys, I don't think they're really ready for what's about to happen. But the high explode, like, they've got a pretty good rate of maneuverability. Now, unfortunately for them, their tactics seem very foolhardy. They literally just rushed in instead of just sitting back and firing their 120mm cannons straight at all of the eyes that this robot spider has. And in fact, at this point, it seems like the spider loses a little bit of health every time it fires off little eggs, right? I think that's what causes its demise, is actually it sort of defeats itself if you're able to survive long enough, so long as it commits to continually pumping out spiderlings to attack you. That's a really fascinating type of a boss. Oh gosh. The tanks are killing themselves. We're seeing turrets fly off. Main battle tanks are getting ammo racked by friendly fire. This might be a tactical disaster. We've seen what victory looks like, and it took the absolute best of all of Tabsdom to do. But I don't know if a modern faction would be able to do it. Because we started out with 11, and it looks like we have only 6 tanks left. We've almost had a 50% loss in life. Actually, over it now as we're 5. No, that one's still alive. It looks like it's dead because look at his friend just stunt ramping it. Are you kidding me? He's like, hey, dude, watch this. Yeah, there's so much friendly fire. This is absolutely ridiculous. The spider is still at 900 health. I'm not sure they're going to have enough. How many tanks left? Still the 5. Still the 5 tanks. Dude, the eruption of the eggs is such a cool... Like, look at this, man. You're walking in the forest and boom. Hundreds of spiderlings spewing forth from the absolute... Like, this would put Shelob to shame. What was it? Ungoliant? Is that the one from, like, the Silmarillion? Was Ungoliant bigger than this? That's what I'm kind of curious about right now. Because maybe whoever the Tinkerer, this mad scientist from some unknown dimension, maybe they just read too much... J.R. Tolkien, you know? Like, that might be the issue right here. Okay, the enemy spider is 300 health, and at this point, there's only 1 tank, and he went straight into the forest. He's lost his ability to maneuver, and I'm not expecting any success, although it's really close. He'll still have to kill off all the spiderlings. This guy's down to 150 health, and somehow this tank is still alive, even though it seems to be getting mobbed. Maybe the spiders don't have, even though they're mechanical and presumably have some kind of a metallic pincer, maybe they can't bite through the armor? Because this thing should die right about now. But we got defeated right as it started to explode? Are you kidding me? Well, we've called in the special forces. We've got a ton of troops. They are incredibly well armed. And not only that, but we popped pink smoke. So at some point, we should be seeing aerial support. Reinforcements from the sky, the elite paratrooper division. These guys are sort of like dimensional hopping troops No one really knows what organization they work for. Their only job is to defend all of the tab's dimensions. I said all of tab's dimension. Where's my air support? I think what we need is to, like, get some machine gun nests. Where's my air support, dang it? Oh gosh, this is gonna be terrifying. Oh, they're behind you! They're behind you! Yeah, if they spread out, oh man, the little exploding eggs in the friendly lines. I think we need to give some of these guys like submachine guns, some shotguns, riot shields, that kind of stuff. Boss health is at about 800. Well, I guess this is more for show. We don't have any paratroopers coming. Guys, I've got bad news. If it's to be, it's up to you. You must see this through. Look at that, man. It's just like, it looks like if a porcupine, instead of having spikes, just had a machine guns and just shot bullets everywhere to defend themselves. That would be an interesting tabs creature. So as you're watching this, I hope your imagination is running as wild as mine is. And I hope that you guys have some really, really cool mod ideas that you would like to see in future videos. If you do, put them in the comments section. And if you see an idea that you really, really like that someone else put, give it an upvote. I feel like that's sort of like the democratization of like the ideation. Oh yeah, a lot of tabs mods, right? Like, let's see what we can come up with as a community, because while I love this thing and it's awesome, there's still so much more that we could do. We could even expand on this idea. So I think it's clear at this point that these special forces troops have everything that it takes to destroy massive amounts of spiders. Unlike the tanks, moving into the forest is actually an advantage to them, because the spiders get hung up and they can successfully navigate around the trees. This just looks like it's probably going to be victory. The enemy spider starting to explode. And there it is. The giant eyeball turns to an X. All of the eyeballs turn into an X. And it gets defeated. So now at this point, it's just rounding up and eliminating the last of the spiderlings. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, thank you for watching another episode of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Remember, leave your mod suggestions in the comments below. Pull the trigger and like button if you did enjoy the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Where's my air support?